The police told me my husband died, but he just texted me. I screamed so loud that the phone almost fell from my hand. The message on my screen couldn't be real. It was from my husband, Ethan. His name, his number, his words. I'm home. Where are you? My hands trembled. Just 2 hours ago, 2 police officers had come to my door, their faces pale, their hats in their hands. They told me Ethan had died in a car crash on Route 57. They showed me a photo of his burned-out car. I had signed papers, cried into a pillow, and now he was texting me? I looked toward the dark hallway, half expecting him to walk out of the shadows. My heart thumped so hard it hurt. The phone buzzed again. Lydia, I said I'm home. Please answer me. I whispered his name, Ethan, but there was no one there. Only the sound of the fridge humming and the clock ticking too loud. I didn't know if I should text back or run. Then, my front door creaked open by itself. Earlier that morning, everything was normal. The sun had spilled into our kitchen, painting the walls golden. Ethan had kissed my forehead before leaving for work. Back by dinner, he said, smiling like he always did. We'd been married for 7 years, a quiet life in Maple Grove, Ohio. Ethan worked at a construction company. I taught at the elementary school down the street. Nothing ever really happened here. Not until that afternoon. Around 5 p.m., Ethan hadn't come home. I called him, no answer. Then the call went straight to voicemail. I thought maybe he was caught in traffic or stopped by a friend. But as hours passed, something inside me began to ache. At 8:13 p.m., there was a knock at my door. When I opened it, 2 officers stood there, Officer Reynolds and a younger man named Dean. Their expressions told me everything before they even spoke. Reynolds cleared his throat. Mrs. Carter, there's been an accident. My knees went weak. I remember the way the world spun, how the sound around me faded. No, I whispered, shaking my head. That's not possible. He texted me this morning. He said, I'm sorry, Reynolds interrupted softly. We found his wallet and ID at the scene. It was a fire. The car was totaled. There were no survivors. I don't remember much after that. I think I screamed. I think I fell. Hours later, I was sitting on the couch in silence, clutching Ethan's favorite jacket. The air in the house felt wrong, like it didn't belong to me anymore. The lights flickered once, twice. I told myself it was just bad wiring. Then my phone buzzed. I almost didn't check it. But when I did, I saw his name. Ethan. I froze. My first thought was that someone had hacked his number. Then I saw the message. I'm home. Where are you? The sound of the clock ticked louder like a heartbeat. My fingers moved before I could think. Who is this? I texted. The reply came in seconds. It's me. I said I'm home. Are you okay? I stood up, staring at the hallway. Every light in the house seemed dimmer now. I could swear I heard footsteps from the living room. Slow, careful steps, like someone didn't want to wake me. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a kitchen knife. My hands shook so bad I could barely hold it. Then I heard the voice. Lydia, it said. It was his voice, soft, familiar, just like Ethan's. My phone buzzed again, lighting up my trembling hand. I'm in the kitchen. The knife slipped from my grasp and clattered onto the floor as the kitchen light flickered on by itself. I turned toward it and froze. Someone was standing in the doorway. My breath caught in my throat. The figure in the kitchen doorway didn't move. It was tall, about Ethan's height, and the dim light flickered across his face, just enough for me to see his eyes. They were exactly like Ethan's. Ethan? I whispered. He didn't answer right away. His head tilted slowly, like he was studying me, unsure if I was real. Then, in that same soft voice, he said, Why are you scared of me? Every part of me wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. You're not real, I stammered. You're dead. The police said you're dead." His lips curved into something between a smile and a frown. They were wrong. He took a step forward, and the floorboards creaked under his weight. I backed away, bumping into the wall. My phone was still in my hand, the screen glowing with his last text. The timestamp showed 10:41 p.m. "Stay back," I said, my voice trembling. He stopped in the doorway, staring at me. "Lydia, it's me," he said again. "Look at me. You know me better than anyone." For a moment I wanted to believe him. His face, his voice, it was all the same. But something was off. His skin looked pale, almost gray under the kitchen light, and his clothes were dirty, like he'd climbed out of the ground. His wedding ring was missing. I swallowed hard. "If you're really Ethan," I whispered, "tell me what we said on our wedding day." He smiled wider, too wide. "You said, 'Till death do us part.'" Then his voice dropped lower, almost like a growl. "But death didn't part us, did it?" My heart pounded so loud I could hear it echo in my ears. I backed toward the stairs, my fingers searching for the light switch, but the power flickered again, and everything went black. "Ethan?" I called into the darkness. No answer. Then faintly, I heard the floor creak. One step, another, getting closer. I ran. My bare feet hit the wooden stairs as I climbed, gasping for air. Behind me, I could hear him following, slow, steady footsteps that matched mine. When I reached the top, I darted into the bedroom and slammed the door shut. I pressed my back against it, trying to listen. Silence. For a few seconds, there was nothing. Then came the whisper. "Lydia." It was right behind the door. I covered my mouth, forcing myself not to make a sound. My phone buzzed again in my hand, and I almost screamed. A new message appeared. "Don't hide from me. I told you I'm home." Tears burned my eyes. I wanted to call 911, but my hands were shaking too badly. Instead, I went to the window, pulled back the curtain, and looked outside. The night was quiet. No cars, no lights, just the dark outline of our front yard. Then, through the window reflection, I saw something move behind me. I spun around, nothing there. The door was still closed, the room empty. My heart thudded painfully against my ribs. "Get it together," I whispered to myself. "It's not him. It's not real." I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to think. Could someone be pretending to be him? Maybe it was a cruel joke. But the voice, the messages, the smell of his cologne, it was too much, too real. The phone buzzed again. "Come downstairs. I made you coffee." My head snapped toward the door. How could he know what I was doing? Slowly I stood and reached for the bedside lamp. It flickered on weakly, casting a small circle of light. Then something caught my eye. There was a picture frame on the dresser, our wedding photo. But it wasn't the same as before. Ethan's face was scratched out. A chill ran through me. I stepped closer, reaching for it, and noticed something written in the glass with what looked like ashes or dirt. "You shouldn't have let me die." I stumbled backward, dropping the frame. It shattered loudly, echoing through the room. From downstairs came the faint sound of movement, chairs scraping, the front door creaking. Then that same voice floated up from below. I said, "Come down, Lydia." My phone lit up again, vibrating in my hand. It was a video message this time. I hesitated, then pressed play. The screen showed my living room, but it was live. I could see the couch, the stairs, everything. And someone was sitting there, facing the camera. It was Ethan. He lifted his head slowly and looked straight into the lens. Then he smiled. "I told you, Lydia, I'm home." And then the screen went black. For a few seconds, I just stared at the black screen. My phone felt heavy, my heart beat loud in my ears. Then, suddenly, the camera switched back on by itself. The live feed came back, but this time it wasn't showing the living room anymore. It was showing the stairs. My stairs. And someone, or something, was climbing them. Step by step, I could hear it now. the same slow rhythm as before. Every creak in the wood echoed through the house. My body froze. The figure on the screen lifted its head slightly, and even through the grainy video, I knew that face. It was Ethan. But his eyes, they weren't right. They were dark, almost hollow, like something was living behind them that wasn't him. I backed away from the door until I hit the far wall. My hands were shaking so bad that I could barely hold on to the phone. My voice cracked as I whispered, "Please, go away." Then came a soft knock on the bedroom door. "Lydia," he said quietly. "Let me in." Tears filled my eyes. "You're not Ethan. He's gone. You're not him." The voice outside the door sighed almost sadly. "You used to love me. You promised you'd never leave me. But you did, Lydia. You let me burn." My knees went weak. I slid down the wall, pressing both hands to my mouth. He knew. He remembered the fire. I remembered it too. The police had said the crash happened because of faulty brakes, but I knew the truth. The brakes had been making noise for weeks. Ethan wanted to fix them, but I told him could wait until payday. He didn't. And now, every word from that voice felt like punishment. "Please," I whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen." The door handle started to turn, slow at first, then harder, rattling in its socket. I jumped up, grabbing the lamp from the table. "Stop it!" I screamed. "Leave me alone!" Then everything went silent again. The door stopped shaking. The air grew heavy, like the whole room was holding its breath. For a second I thought he was gone. Then my phone buzzed. A new message appeared. "Check the closet." I froze. My eyes slowly turned toward the sliding closet doors across the room. They were slightly open, just enough for a thin shadow to peek through. I shook my head, whispering, "No," but curiosity, or maybe fear, made me step closer. My fingers reached for the handle, trembling. I took a deep breath and slid it open. Empty, just clothes, boxes, and darkness. I almost laughed from the relief. Then my phone buzzed again, and my smile vanished. "Behind you." I spun around. Ethan was standing right there. He looked worse now, his skin cracked like burned paper, his eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. The smell of smoke filled the room. I stumbled backward, gasping. "Why, Lydia?" he whispered. "Why did you let me die?" "I didn't!" I cried. "I didn't know. Please!" He took another step toward me, leaving black, ashy footprints on the floor. The lamp in my hand flickered, sparks flying from its cord. "You said you'd love me forever," he said softly, "but forever doesn't end in a fire." I lifted the lamp and swung it. It hit his shoulder, but instead of falling, he just vanished into thin air. The lamp shattered, the room going completely dark. I was shaking, crying, gasping for air. Then slowly, a faint light began to glow from my phone screen again. It wasn't a message this time. It was the live feed. The camera view had changed. It was now showing my bedroom. I stared at the screen in horror. I could see myself, sitting on the floor, looking down at my phone, exactly as I was. And then, another figure appeared behind me on the feed. I turned around fast. Nothing there. But on the phone, he was still standing right behind me, closer now, his burned face staring into the lens. His mouth moved, forming words I couldn't hear. I dropped the phone. The screen cracked, but didn't go dark. The video kept playing. The figure leaned closer until his face filled the screen. Then, suddenly, the sound came through, his voice, whispering through static. "Till death do us part." The phone went black. The lights in the house flickered one last time and went out completely. Outside, neighbors later said they saw the house lights turn on again around 3 a.m., just for a second. When police arrived the next morning, the door was still locked from the inside. They found Lydia's phone on the bedroom floor. The final video showed no one in the room, just the faint sound of a man whispering her name, and no one ever saw Lydia Carter again.